Hey, what up, man? How are you?
Hey Tim, it's good.
You doing, Henry?
Yeah, yeah.
You doing good?
I'm doing good. Currently trying to hold on to number two in the UK charts behind Biffy Clyro. We'll
We just had
lose
them
it.
on.
We won't finish the week on it, but it's a bit weird.
Dude, I'm
Not a bad.
happy for you guys.
Sorry.
I'm happy for you guys.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really cool.
Um, is it just gonna be me and you?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, we'll start it. So how does that make you feel?
It's just kind of exhilarating as it can be at the moment in lockdown and everything. It's really surreal because obviously it's our debut album, and it's pretty sick. I've got no problem being at number two behind Biffy Clyro because they're just sort of gods. So like I'm very
25 years in the game, man.
very relaxed about that. But whatever. It's great. It's great to have the album out. Um, yeah, and it's sort of like we'd been around for 4 years before it, so it's kind of, and we're just so used to not having an album out, so now we got it out. It's a weekend, and it's really exciting, and it's cool that we've got all those songs out. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Um, I'm very so it this your album came across, in the email, and I was like, okay, let me try it out. Man, I loved it. And
Thanks.
very few and far between do I love an album. You know what I mean? And especially nowadays, because it's all about instant gratification, and it seems like there's so much pressure on the artist to you guys. It's all killer, no filler, and I'm so happy to have you guys, or to just talk to you about it.
Sick. Amazing. Thank you. Yeah.
Who are you? So I know you guys. Take me through how the band started.
The band started, we've known each other since school, and we've been playing with each other since our like early teens. And we had two separate bands, me and Oli in one, and then we had a drummer, and then the other guys in another. And then our drummers had the foresight to leave, to quit both bands, and it kind of forced us together to be a band together, and it just felt right immediately, and it was the obvious thing to do. So, and then we just got going from there. That was 5 years ago almost. Yeah.
And you had a small village upbringing? Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. So we all grew up kind of in rural Midlands in the UK, about 2 hours north of London, uh, and town slash like village life and all that. But yeah, it was. And then we just used to book gigs and stuff there and go around to each other's houses and jam and just write with each other and stuff. Yeah, that's how it all started.
How weird is it, or how surreal is it, like coming from a small place, a small town, and playing in Los Angeles or New York or um, London? Like how is I mean, because it's a big difference. It's a big, I used to serve with guys that came from these smaller towns, and it is a big, like, whoa. How was it for you? How was your experience?
Um, I just guess like we've sort of grown up with it, and it didn't come too early for us. Like um, but it's a real. I fell in love with the idea of touring and seeing different places and big places before I did it, and it's got a real romance to it that is real. That like you know
Yeah.
that it's kind of surreal, and you kind of feel like you're not really living in normal life, or like you might be in a simulation. I don't know. Um, but it's just great. Like going around the world. Like we played America for the first time last year in December, and that was really weird because I'd never been to America, and it was like stepping into a film kind of thing. It's a real privilege as well to be in a band and tour and go everywhere because we play small towns as well and stuff. I, it just all the best bits of it are really good.
And it must
Yeah.
have had it must have been heartbreaking for you guys. I can just imagine. Because you guys last year had a killer year. And if I'm you, you know, as a man that's preparing for my future, like, dude, 2020, it's our year. You know,
Yeah.
it is our year. And it's still, you know, number two behind Biffy Clyro isn't nothing to scoff at, but I can imagine the heartbreak in this. Take me through that, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, so we've been basically touring for 3 years up until that, you know, that it become our life that it was touring and I wasn't going to be in the same city next week sort of thing, you know, that, and that's like how that became normal, and that's how we did our business. Like our whole thing, we're just a live band. Like we didn't have to think outside about it. And we put an EP out earlier. We put earlier in the year, and we'd sold our biggest shows, and then it just got cut off. And I think the longer it sort of goes on, the more you're like, oh, well, when's this going to happen again? You know, I think we stayed pretty optimistic. You know, I just was just like, you know what, it could be worse, and I know it's going to happen again. I know it's going to pick up again. You know, at least we had this album to put out this year. Like we got something to do. We got something to work towards. We got music to think about. You know, like it's good job we had that this year. And it's weird, like not gigging an album straight away, but at least we've got something musical to do. Like it didn't take our purpose away as a band. It just like we had to do, like, you know, we used whatever we could, like social media and stuff, and we recorded like live stuff over, you know, the internet at our homes and posted it up. It's no way the same as a real gig, but like, you know, at least we had something to do and we applied ourselves to it. But it's tough because you know, we're about being a live band, and I'm just grateful for, like, you know, fans sticking with us, you know, even though they don't get to do that, they don't get to come and see us and stuff, you know.
Who's been your guys's like, who's been, like, when I hear you guys, I hear a little bit of the Kooks in there. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, that's a little bit of the Kooks, maybe a little bit of the Struts, you know, and it's like, oh my God. But it's, and I love the Kooks, and don't get me wrong, but it seems like it's everything I was yearning for the Kooks in you guys.
that's
So
interesting. I'll
uh,
take that. I'll take that.
it's sort of like, you know, I've always loved the Kooks, and eventually throughout their, when they were going, it's like, oh, I know they're capable of more. I know it can get better, and like, come on, guys, you know, I'm just sort of rooting for them, and you are the root that I was rooting for the Kooks.
That's sick. I think like every band like jumps off other bands, don't it? Like, and the Kooks were like kind of my favorite band when I was like 14. Do you know what I mean? Probably one of my favorite bands. And then I love, you know, the Killers, you know, Kings of Leon and stuff. But I think like you're amalgamation of all those kind of things. Kooks wise, like I think you do just jump off like what you were, like White Lies. I mean, it's a bit random or whatever, but like that almost sounded like what the Killers, a route the Killers could have gone down.
Yeah.
But they made Sam's Town, do you know what I mean, from Hot Fuss. So like I think, and clearly like they're big Killers fans, we're big Killers fans, you know. And I think like some of the first guitar stuff I learned Naive on the Kook by the Kooks. I think that was one of the first things. I learned a bunch of Oasis, a bunch of the Kooks, and Killers and stuff. That's what I was started to learn playing guitar
Have,
on. So
have you ever met him? Have you met somebody, an artist wise, that you really respect when you're on tour? And like, oh my God, have you had a freak out moment?
I I like to think I keep quite cool and collected, you know.
Me too. I try. I try.
But we toured with the Foals in Russia and Ukraine,
Oh
and
shit.
that was
So
cool, and that was just super sick to just be like, you know, I just took that moment, and the dressing rooms were really nice, and they were super cool. They gave us a bottle of whiskey. That was really cool because they are kind of idols. Met the Kooks as well, actually.
oh
Did
no
I meet
shit.
the Kooks? I might be imagining I met the Kooks. Maybe I didn't, but we supported them. I feel like
We're rooting for him.
I can't remember now. But who else have we met? I don't know. But yeah, I remember Foles, and I think I've met the Kooks. And they're really cool. So yeah.
Take me through your album. like, how did you, what was the, when you guys are creating this, like, what are the ideas that are going into this? What are some of the things that you wanted to convey through your art?
So basically, half the album, I mean, I started writing music just to try and feel something as a kind of like, it's that sort of spiritual, whatever, that side of your life that your soul just needs music. You just want to listen to music and you can't explain why you're doing it. And just to feel really good. That's how it started out. And then as you get a bit older and things start happening, it's just started becoming very important. And I felt like it got more and more personal. I think it always was, but I didn't talk about it being personal. And, you know, you're just trying to like figure out the life through songwriting. And with this album, I guess half of the songs on this album, I had a head injury at work. A trap door came down on my head, and I got this thing, I'd never heard of it, post-concussion syndrome or whatever, and it totally altered my way I saw the world and could interact with it. Sorry?
So what is that? Post-concussion, does that make you depressed?
You're concussed, but it didn't go away.
Shit.
So I had it really bad for like 8-9 months, and it was bad for a year and a half. And it just like, everything was much harder. I suddenly got more tired. And from hitting my head, about half of these songs, the first song I wrote was You Over Anyone. It really made me think about what I was doing with life. It's kind of like a fake love song about, you know, how I'm like treating myself with my health kind of thing. So it's quite personal in that respect. And then lots of songs move through, like Ready for More. That's about kind of being like, I just got aware that like I needed to, like, I just got so aware of how unhealthy my head was. I had this head injury and it wasn't going away, and it was really scary, and I just didn't understand what to do with it. But luckily it's got a lot better. But yeah, I mean, in that respect, it's very personal. It got very personal, and I decided to talk about what the songs meant, because it's quite cryptic, you know, and a lot of the stuff is quite like building a song like a collage, a lot of songs, so it's not that obvious. And I just thought, if I'm making an album and we're putting these songs out, I might as well say what it's really about, you know, like just, yeah, because it means something. I don't know if that makes sense. You tell me.
No, I definitely get you. So when you end up going to a doctor with this?
I did end up going to a doctor.
How did they fix that?
Well,
so
I went to the doctor about 4 months after, and he said, it's a shame you didn't come earlier. But they can't really do much other than be like, you shouldn't be on tour. You shouldn't be, but I had to tour. I toured.
Right, I get you.
I toured, and I'd been tour. I knocked my head, and then we were on tour about 2 months after. And after every show, I did the show, and I mean, I had friends that knew I'd hit my head. They came to a show, and I spoke to them after one of the shows. This is about 3 weeks after I hit my head, and they were like, and they said to me, they were like, Henry, it's not okay. Hey, you really shouldn't be drinking. You've got this thing. And I was like, I haven't touched a drop. I haven't had anything, and I hadn't. I just wasn't. Sense. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was really obvious to people, and I just forgot who I'd spoken to and what I'd said to people. So I was kind of just like living, just grafting, getting by that first year, that summer of festivals and touring. I mean, I didn't know where I was, up or down. And,
do you feel like you've lost a piece of your life in that time frame? Is it hard to remember things from that time frame?
Kind of. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't really feel sorry for myself about it, because I'm just grateful I'm better, and it's just something that happens. Everyone gets hardships, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, everyone gets something, and I'm just lucky it wasn't as bad, but it was rubbish. I remember it was rubbish, and sometimes I forget what it was like, or like I just forget that it happened. But I couldn't really tell you much from there's about, you know, 5-6 month period to a year that I don't really remember much of. And it was, yeah, you know, I just weird, like this, basically concussion symptoms just didn't go away, you know. And I when I was at the doctor, he was like, I'm surprised. He was like, yeah, and it was, at least I'm not like this now, but it was like, I'm surprised you got through university. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking to you and you don't seem like someone who's got a degree. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah. But I hope that I seem intelligent now. I feel better. Yeah.
You're good. When you listen back to those songs that you created in that space, like, what is your recollection of that? Is that like, oh, I did a good job? Or do you like, oh, me in that period did a good job? Or is it surprising to you? Is it different than your art now? Like, that's really interesting to me.
I think, thank God I had that and songs to put something into so I could kind of make sense of it, and that something good came out of it, you know, something that, like, songs I love, like Ready for More, You Over Anyone, you know, To an Extent You Really Want to Know. I just pleased, what do I think? I just think, like, shit. I'm pleased I managed to write those songs, I think. Yeah.
Dope, man. Who's your favorite band member?
Who's my favorite band member?
Go ahead and answer it. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah. Me.
Okay. That's good enough.
You know, it depends what what for, you know. But yeah, no, I just, you know, we're like brothers, so it's.
When's the last time you were inspired?
Sorry?
When's the last time you were inspired?
I felt really inspired about, I'd say I felt really inspired about 4 weeks ago, and I felt pretty damn inspired about a week and a half ago.
By who?
By who?
By what?
I just think I was thinking about life 4 weeks ago. I think I was thinking about, you know, the importance of just like fucking like living a good life, and just like being able to like be present, like just like not being out of it, just being like, you know, just I don't want to take it for granted. And I wrote a song about that. I just felt important. I just wrote a few lines down, you know, just about, you know, like, let's not waste. I quite like to be a happy 50-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, that's my goal. That was my goal in that moment. Anyway, you saying that, that's what I was thinking of.
Dope. I would think that this would be my last question. Besides music, what are you like into? I mean, not just like me. I do radio, right? So that's my number one interest, my number one love in music. Besides that, I love to research about humanity. Like, we don't know how we got here. We don't. I mean, that's the honest. We don't know who we are, why we're here, and for me, that is like, I'm obsessed with it. Is there anything specifically besides music that you're obsessed with?
I'm obsessed with. You've just given a really good answer. I was going to say cars. I think cars look so good. You give such a good answer, and that is really, you know, I do like looking at the sky and think like, what the hell are we doing here and stuff. But the answer, honestly, the answer I was going to give you is cars. I just think cars are fucking cool.
Yeah. Do you like restore them or?
No, like, people say that. I just like fucking love sitting in them and like driving as many different ones as I could, you know. Like, I just think they just look amazing.
Do you guys have cars out there in your village, or just horses?
No, we got cars. Like, I think you're thinking like, yeah, we're exactly the same.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm loving cars at the moment. I like looking at cars and shit. Yeah, I like watching reviews.
Bro, it was so awesome and an honor to talk to you and spend a little time with you. And I know cover we support you guys, and we want you guys to fucking continue to smash it, man.
Amazing.
You guys, you're the future. You are the
Thank
future.
you so much. That's so
Go
kind.
fucking get them, bro.
We will. We will. We'll do our best. Awesome.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for your time.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
You too, buddy.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.